All right, we are live here, our first Sunday edition of the Pat and Go Show, formerly known as Middle School Mondays. Excited to get here with you guys on a new night. Hopefully everyone can join us. I know it's a new night, so it might be a week or two before everyone gets used to the cadence, but we wanted to keep it rolling. My co-host, Facile Belengo, is working with some kids right now, so he might be a few minutes late. My name is Matt Lasker. I've hosted the show, the Monday night or middle school Monday night shows for some time now. You guys might know me from Air Raid Warden. So welcome in. We have a fun night to get back. We've kind of been away from everybody for the last 2 weeks. I've had some reasons. I've tried to get this camp started out here, and we'll bring everyone in and talk about all this. But my camps have been running on Monday nights, and a lot of the folks out here in our world, you guys out there, of course, have had different experiences. Some of you are in camp, some of you are just doing camp, some of you are playing full-blown season. So I wanted to use this night, because we didn't have too much time to plan, as a way to catch up with everybody and kind of see what's going around what's going on around. I'm going to put this StreamYard link in the chat. So if you guys want to call in, now is the time to call in and let's chat. I do have a couple things lined up for today. I want to first introduce my first guest. Again, we're all youth and middle school coaches, so I think if you guys call in right now, we could definitely talk through the reason I'm bringing these speakers on and kind of get an update from the world. But first, I want to bring in Coach Lucci from Oregon. Coach Lucci and I have been talking about his program up in Oregon, and it seems pretty cool. But first, I wanted to say hello. Coach Lucci, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for joining us today, man. I've we've been talking a little bit on the Facebook Messenger, I believe, and a little bit on text about what you're doing out there, and it really caught my attention because you guys are full go right now in Oregon, it sounds like, and we want to talk a little bit about this All-Star game you talk about, but fill us in on what's going up in Oregon first.
So actually, right now, tackle football is not going. So we've been running spring camps, basically running it like 7-on-7 type stuff. And our linemen kind of work separately. They're allowed to use some shared equipment, but we haven't even been bringing out pads or anything. Just work with our linemen and route running and throwing footballs.
Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing down here, just skills camps. I mean, we have linemen mixing in, and I'm doing the Dular O-line camp basically for them. But okay, cool. So let's rewind a little bit and just get a little bit of a flavor of who you are. So you coach up in Oregon. What levels have you been coaching of late? You're middle school, is that right?
Yes, sir. I coach the 7th and 8th grade team here out in Tillamook, Oregon.
Very cool. And so it's a combined team. It's not like 7th grade is separate, then 8th grade is a combined like middle school team. Is that kind of how you guys frame it?
So we do actually have a 7th and an 8th grade team. We just practice and run everything together.
Oh, I love that. That's so great. In practice, you guys do it all together, and then in games, you separate out. Is that right? Okay, and that's 7-on-7.
Go ahead.
And tackle? No, I was just trying to frame it. So 7-on-7 and tackle, is that the same during tackle season as well, or just 7-on-7?
During our tackle season, it is the same. This year, we're going to look at trying to do more of like a JV and varsity type system to get some of our underdeveloped guys a little bit more playing time.
I love it.
So a lot of the schools we play are all combined 7th and 8th grade teams. And we've always been split at 7th and an 8th. So we're going to try something a little different this year.
And how long have you been at the middle school level?
I've been coaching out here this will be going into my 4th season out here. And then I coached out in Reno for 5 years. Nice.
And I think that's what caught my attention with you. We were talking about some Reno food spots actually on Facebook randomly, right? The awful shutting down. I was so sad. So I went to college in Reno, for everyone that is out there listening. And there's this one place, man, as a college student, it's legendary, right? So college in Reno is not like I had so many friends that went to USC, and I'd go down there, and they have like College Row down at USC, and it's very much that college. Even the athletes, it's built around the frats. In Reno, it's not really like that. Reno, it seems to kind of be built around the nightlife downtown. At least when I was there back in the mid 90s. So we would all, as a team, go out to these bars and clubs. Reno Live used to be pretty great, but bingo, like there was all these, standard clubs for the college kids. But regardless of where we went, Saturday, Friday, and in college, like you took Monday off, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday was all like the weekend basically. Yeah. But regardless, we would hit up this place called Awful, maybe about 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And the Awful stands for awful big and awful good. And the burgers were just massive, right? And the fries, they were just a whole basket of fries. And it was a challenge. So if you finished the whole basket of fries and the burger, you could have another one, right? So like it was like this legendary thing. Late night, you're just like out with your friends. We'll leave it at that. Whatever, you end up at 2, 3 a.m. If you don't go to Cal Neva for $1 blackjack, you're at the Awful. So it sounded like, Coach, you were familiar with the Awful. You were one of those guys that frequented that place. Is that right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
About those same hours too.
Exactly. Reno is great. I mean, I honestly, I love my time in Reno. I spent 5 years there in college. A lot of my friends stayed there because they're from the Bay Area, and here it's like you could either get a 5-bedroom, back then at least, a 5-bedroom for $150,000 up there, or come back to the Bay Area and that same house is like $1 million. So a lot of my friends stayed there and enjoy it to this day. Like it's a great place. You have the mountains, you have the rivers, you have all those things. So it's an underrated city for sure. So cool, man. So Coach Lucci, what I brought him in here for is, we're going to get to it. The first thing we're going to talk about is what he's doing up there, because I think this is the coolest. And I'm going to ask you some more detailed questions after I welcome a couple more people into the panel. But they have this all-star state game for the youth in middle school. And I'm going to ask you to describe it in more detail here in a second. But he showed me this thing where they get together like now, like in spring, I guess it is, huh? And you guys get together and have an all-state game for kids and the coaches, and it's for charity. And they all go to Oregon State University and stay in the dorms together. And it's like this whole great, amazing football. Was it a weekend, Coach?
Yeah, so we coaches get there Tuesdays, players arrive Wednesdays, and then games played on Saturday.
So cool, man. And it's such a cool experience. And I'm going to show you guys the video that he showed me that they use to promote it. But it's for a great cause, right? It's for at-risk kids, if I'm correct. Who's the target?
Kids in foster care.
Okay, and my first job I have an English lit degree, and that's literally the job I was going to do, was working with kids in foster care. I'm adopted myself. I don't even know if people out there know that. So I have a soft spot in my heart for that. So we're going to get into that with Coach Lucci in just a second, and we're going to open it up for him to just really tell us, and we're going to show you the video of that. So hang tight for that. But let me welcome everybody else in that's kind of called in. I've asked everyone kind of call in first on the chat line, and then we'll get to Coach Lucci when we get to our first segment. The next person I want to welcome in is Coach Eddie Young. If you guys know Coach Eddie Young, he's been very active on our social media. How's it going, Coach?
I'm doing great, brother. How about you?
Hey, man, I can't complain. I appreciate you joining us today. How's the weekend for you, bud?
Oh, man, weekend was great. We are getting ready to send our kids back to school. So we did a lot of that last minute back to school shopping and making sure that we had all the supplies and all that stuff, man. Yeah, hung out with the church family a little bit just a little while ago. But, yeah, it's been really good. Real chill weekend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so if you guys didn't recognize the name, Coach Young just spun up his YouTube channel and his Facebook group. It's Green and Yellow. Now that is the arch rivals of my in-town. So there's 2 high schools in town, and the Green and Yellow is like the A's and Giants. For me, basically, like where I'm out here in the Bay, I'm the Giants fan, and the arch rival is the A's. Yeah. And then in our high school town, it's like Monte Vista is my city. It's like black and red, and then green and yellow. So I love the colors. I do. But so his channel is the middle school. Tell me again, middle school. Is it Middle School Football Academy? What is it called, Coach?
You got it. Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. And so you guys have probably seen him active on our group before he started the channel, but now he started his own channel. We want to give him some love. So go to YouTube right now while we're sitting here chatting. before we get into the meat and potatoes of this, and go subscribe to his YouTube channel. He does have a Facebook group, middle school. Say it again, Coach. Say it for us.
Middle School Football Academy. Yes, sir.
Perfect. And so tell us real quick, give us some background. Who do you coach right now? What levels do you coach? What's your experience with coaching at our level? What's the background for you, Coach? Did I lose you?
Yes, sir. So currently I'm coaching at Banks Trail Middle School right here in Fort Mill, South Carolina. We have together. So sixth graders are not my son's youth flag team. He's 13. We as a family decided that just with COVID, even though everything is open in South Carolina, we are when I say everything is open, like so let him play a little flag, because he's been playing tackle football since he's been about 6 years old, and I've been with him kind of coaching all along there. We started a pop warner program, honestly, that Longo's in. So we've been right along with him, and it's kind of, I've moved up from the little ones, 5 and 6, 12-year-olds.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. And I love that span, right? Like my first year was the 6 to 9-year-olds. And that is such a different type of football. And I keep telling these high school coaches that we are cherry picking from, and I 100% give all the credit to the high school coaches that we are cherry picking all of our stuff from, right? Like the Mackeys of the world, the Dulars of the world. You know, we all love to death our sensei out there. All these guys, Napier and all these guys. So we love cherry picking them. But I do think, you know, the youth game is different than the middle school game, and the middle school game is different than the high school game. So I think it's so important that a lot of us have started at these, you know, learn how to coach. If you can coach a 6-year-old, I'm pretty sure you can coach anything out there, right? So I love that story, Coach. And not to put you on the spot, I don't mean to. And you know,
man, if you can keep them in a straight line. Yeah.
So are you kind of on this air raid train with some of us in here? Or are you like, what kind of? I'm just curious, what kind of offense are you on that with us, or are you kind of more run game oriented? I'm just curious how you kind of see your teams running right now as far as offense goes.
You know, it's funny, man. Wide zone enthusiast, and I just got these, to be honest with you. Did a lot of research, stumbled upon it, and I was like, I really like this because it gives my running back a lot of options. Now I'm pretty much air raid that way. A lot of concepts between the mesh yet, but those are where I kind of take at least a decent amount of headway.
Yeah, no, it's great. That's great. And you know, honestly, like a lot of us are in the same boat. I mean, I feel like I got lucky because I had a great organization that took great film. We already made it a point to record all of our games, so I could create like this great content for my channel. But a lot of us are in the same boats. I'm only a year in. A lot of the guys on this that are listening in from all over the country are only a year in, or maybe less than that, or they're just trying to transition now. So this is what's great about it. None of us are, except maybe Mike Hardwick out in Mississippi, who's been doing this at the middle school level for a decade, right? Most of us are just a year or two in. We just stumbled upon the air raid. We just figured out, holy crap, there's an actual system that's built around what I'm trying to like put together in my mind all by myself. So that's great, man. I really love that. And I just love the fact that we can kind of all take this journey together. So what I love about your channel, Coach, is that you are talking right off the bat. I mean, your first 3 or 4 videos were about topics that as coaches, we definitely need to discuss, right? But they're not just only X's and O's. Like I've been so focused on how to run a stick or how to run a corner that's all I've been really focused on. That's typically what people ask me about. But I love that you started your channel, Coach, thinking about parent relations. So maybe talk to us a little bit about, your mindset of when you started this channel. It sounded like you were on a kind of a different wavelength of, I want to get to this part of the coaching, which is just as important as the X's and O's. Trust me, especially if you're a head coach. So maybe you want to just talk about that a little bit so people can get to know you and where your mind's at.
Absolutely. So part of my background with that Pop Warner organization is I was actually the organization commissioner. So in addition to coaching, I was also had my commission on too. I was interacting with parents constantly, like all the time. And it wasn't just my team. It was with every team that was in that organization. I believe we had about either. So I was basically connecting with them on all these different types of topics and things. And I was like, coaches have to understand how to work with parents at the youth level. Because at the end of the day, if mama and daddy doesn't bring little Johnny to practice because mom and daddy is mad at you as a coach, now you missing your player. So you got to have a little bit of charisma, a little bit of charm, the ability to work with parents in some ways. And not everybody has that. So I want to throw some information out there just to give some coaches just a little, at least some background to say, here are a few things that you really want to do when it comes to work with parents, and also some things you definitely want to avoid. Because frankly, everybody doesn't have good bedside manner, right? Some folks are like kind of skittish around working with parents. And for me, I was like, there's a whole nother side of coaching that honestly, I think at this day and age, we're beyond the place and the time where we can just come to practice, focus on the kids, and then just chuck the deuces. Like we can't do that anymore. We're constantly working with parents, even if it's on a fundraising level. We got to be able to work with them to say, hey, look, we need some help with this, need some help with that. Hey, Johnny's been cursing a lot of practice. Can you talk to him about that? All these different things that we have to be able to work with our parents on. And then, on the flip side, of course, you got to throw the X's and O's in there. Talk a little bit about defense, because it's funny. I grew as I came up coaching, even going back to high school. I played offensive line. Definitely had an offensive mindset. It stopped my playing days stopped at high school because I was one of those guys who ran the 40 in like 5.3 days. So no college was trying to holler at me. But I was like, just wanted to stay active and whatnot. And then when I got to the middle school, they were like, all right, so we like you. We want you to come in. By the way, we already got somebody running offense, so you're running the defense. I was like, oh, okay. So had to pivot real quick.
I can do that.
Research, found some things and said, okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to run this 4-3. We're going to be real gap sound. And on the back end, we're running anywhere between a cover 2 and cover 3. And that's what we're going with. And we've been really successful at the middle school. I think my first year there, we averaged giving up about 14 points a game. And then this past year, we cut that down a little bit to about 12 points a game. So we've been very successful with what we've been able to do.
Beautiful. I love that. That's just such a very consistent story that I hear from coaches in our world, the youth and middle school coaches. Like we love the game. Yes, maybe we have a kid that we're coaching at the same time, but we love the game. We know the game. Probably if you try to sit on the sideline for a year or two, you realize that maybe I know the game a little bit better than the guys that are trying to teach my kid the game. So maybe I should get involved. And you know what I'm saying? So we appreciate you, Coach. Thanks for jumping in. I want to keep you on this panel today so we can kind of talk and get to know you a little bit.
Absolutely.
And then we're going to have Coach Eddie Young back to break down specific topics. I know all you guys, we always talk X and O's on this show, but there's always questions about parent relations. There's always questions about coach relations. There's always questions about that next level. And so we're going to keep bringing in Coach Eddie Young back as much as he's available. I know you're a busy guy. This guy sounds like you're back and going back to school. You sounds like going to seminary, which is a amazing thing that I would. I went to church from every Sunday till I graduated and went to college. My parents got sad after that because I didn't go as much. But like, I love bringing that piece into this. So, Coach, hang tight on this panel. We have a couple more people to welcome in as we get this show going. But I'm excited to introduce you to the group, and hopefully, everyone will take this a second right now to go follow him. Again, Middle School Football Academy on Facebook and YouTube. Go follow him right now. The next person I want to welcome in is Coach Anthony Johns. Coach Johns, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you, Coach.
How you doing, sir?
Good. Sorry, I have my laptop connected to a monitor, so my laptop's down, so that's why my camera don't work.
Oh, no worries. I wanted to bring in Anthony Johns. He's in Arizona. Is that right, Coach? You're in Arizona?
Yes, sir.
All right. And he has taken the football journey that a lot of us, myself at the top of the list, want to take. I was away from football after I played in college. I don't know what it was. I mean, I always watched football and always loved football, but I literally took a decade away from the game because I don't know what it was. But once I came back, the journey for me, now that I'm back in football and I've caught the bug again, I want to take my youth experience to middle school and then take my middle school experience to high school and see where it can take me. Coach Johns has made that journey from youth middle school, and now he's coaching in high school. So, Coach Johns, I wanted to bring you in because I think a lot of us are on this same path where we get the bug again and we make that journey. And I wanted to kind of just introduce you to the group because I think it's a really great case study for us as youth coaches who, if any of you guys want to make that journey, to learn from a guy like Anthony. So, Coach, if you don't want to just introduce yourself and kind of telling us about your journey through the coaches ladder, I guess, for lack of a better term, we'd love to just kind of hear it from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, crazy. Football kind of kept me sane. I actually had my son. I'm 33. He's 14, and so after he was born, I had him full time with me, and he's always been full time with me. So basically, what I did is to try to. All my friends were going to college, and I was the one with the kid. And so what I did is I decided to just volunteer coach football in some spare time I had while he would go see his mom twice a week. And so basically, I actually started volunteering. I was 19 with the local city league. It was NFL 5-on-5 flag, and that's how I started. And basically, I did that for a couple seasons with one of my best friends, and then after that, moved on to volunteer youth football. Just was a position coach. I mean, I came in and there was really offensive line is all I knew because that's what I played in high school. And there was another O-line coach, so I just soaked up as much information as I could. About 2 seasons later, that was a junior high team. I took over as the offense coordinator for that junior high team. And probably 3 seasons after that, I took over as an offensive line coach for a freshman football team. The next year after that, I got hired on to be a head freshman football coach at a high school. Did that for a couple years, moved up to a varsity position coach, and for 4 years. And now I'm, after that, I looked for some coordinator jobs, and I picked up the coordinator job where I'm at now. So, I mean, it's been a long journey. It's been, I've been at it for 14 years.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and there's just, it's, so it took some time, but I also knew, it had to be the right fit for me. I got offered some high school jobs when I was young, and I was like, no way. I couldn't commit to the time having my son. I didn't start coaching high school football until I met my wife, who at the time was my girlfriend, and she has kids. And so it kind of worked out, and she told me to go for it. And so I did. And this is kind of where we're at now.
Very cool, man. And so I got to ask you, and, it doesn't matter. We're not going to throw rocks at you, but it sounds like you were an offensive coordinator for a while. Curious what kind of offense, just get in your mind a little bit where your mind goes when it comes to offense.
Oh, so we're an air raid offense right now.
Woo! There we go.
So the first high school I was at was an air raid team. The varsity offensive coordinator was played at SMU. He was a wide receiver there, and they were in air raid, so that's kind of what I learned under. And then when I went to the following high school, we were like a pistol power, like a pistol wing T offense. Did that for 2 years there, or 3 years there, and then we went to Flexbone our last year there, which was a disaster. And then I moved over to another high school for 2 more years, and we were a spread team. But I mean, we weren't air raid. Well, once I got hired to be a coordinator, I mean, I went full blown air raid.
Yeah.
We do run some. Our run game is a little different though. We run power counter and inside zone only. We only run 3 run plays, and we just dress up. And then we run Y stick, Y corner, sail, Y cross. I mean, all that typical stuff.
Standard. Love it. That's exciting. Very cool. And you're calling air raid right now then in your current world?
Yeah.
Sweet, man. Yeah, I mean that's most of us. I do GT. I do power. Now we get a lot of 5-man fronts out here in our little youth world, so I don't really run inside too much. We have a draw built in just in case we can get 31 draw or whatever.
Yeah,
that's cool. I mean that's pretty much. I mean the thing I've been telling these guys, and pretty much where I learned it from, is like all you need is 3 runs at the most. Where did you pick up? You said you learned it from another coach. Was that literally your introduction to air raid? You hadn't really thought about it before?
Yeah, that was my full introduction. He played at SMU in the air raid, so when we got there, holy moly, were they fast on varsity.
Nice.
I mean, they were quick. We had a good quarterback who went on to play some JUCO, and then I think he's playing overseas now. And so they were really quick, and so I got to learn under that for a year, and I decided, man, this is, whenever I get a chance, it's kind of what I want to do. And so last year we weren't very fast. We're no huddle, but we weren't really fast. This year we've already been at it for a little bit, and this year, I mean, we are picking up the pace. So it's kind of good to see our kids embrace it, and they like it because that's what they see on Saturdays and stuff. So
beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I think my biggest fault last year was not going fast enough. I admittedly, kind of played to the pace of my opposition. It was year 1 for me, but looking back now and continuing to hear the air raid lessons I've heard time after time, like if you're playing a team that outmatches you, and we had one team that kind of had our number last year, go faster, right? And I was more of the line of like, we have this great running back, I'm just going to feed him, and I'm just going to try to get through the game. But I love that because it's the thing. We definitely need to go faster. So I love that you just mentioned that. So, Coach, tell us your what's the best advice if like for me, I'm literally want to be you at some point, where I want to get into high school and get to that like point where they would respect me as a high school coach, but coming from youth, because not that there's anything wrong with it. I love youth football coaches. I 100% with my whole heart feel like we're a special breed because we don't even get stipends like some of the high school coaches get. Like it's pure volunteers. So please, if you have one piece of advice, what a high school or a youth coach like me needs to do to get at least a little street cred before we go apply for a high school coaching job. What do you think, Coach? How would I position myself right now thinking I want to get to high school in a couple of years and my kid maybe gets to that level?
So I would say it's all about who you know. That's more than anything. The way I got in was one of the guys that was on the teams that I coached in the U teams. Well, he ended up being a varsity linebacker. And so he introduced me to the head coach and brought me right in. So that helps. But as far as if you don't have that, simply just reaching out to high school coaches, they always will talk ball, always. Like if you're ever afraid to ask, don't be, they will talk ball with you. So the one thing I did is when I started doing that, I went to a random, like the school I got hired at to be the head freshman coach. I had a friend that I had not even really a friend at the time. He was just someone that went to the same high school as me. And I was friends with him on Facebook, and he posted up, "Hey, we're looking for lower level coaches." And so I messaged him right away, called the head coach when I met with him. you just can't be afraid to go out there and do it. You know, you gotta stick your head out there, and it's uncomfortable, but you got to do it. You know, if that's what you want to be, and so essentially just reaching out to coaches. I mean, I'm sure you could get, you know, where you guys live at locally, you know, pull up a directory of the schools that are around you and look for the head football coach on Max Preps, and then just email that coach. And I can, you know, almost assure you that most of them would absolutely, you know, take you on in a heartbeat. Mostly because if you're willing, I mean, they can teach you the football. It's more of, hey, do you have skills with kids? If you got the skills with kids, I mean, they'll teach you the football and they'll teach you things the way they want to know. But they just want to know you got skills with kids, and you'll love them and you'll treat them the right way, and you won't scream and yell at them and cuss at them and stuff like that. As long as you do things currently the right way, I mean, you know, guys are willing to, you know, they're willing to go out on a limb and you know, put you in position as far as if you want to help them.
Yeah. I got to work on the cussing thing. Sometimes it just comes out of my mouth, but
you know what though? I mean, like, it depends on how it comes out. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
because every
100%.
coach, I mean, like every coach will do it. So the one thing I try to do is I try never let the kids hear me at my high school. If it's a Friday night and we're on a headset, if I have to, I'll walk away from the sideline where I'm at just so the kids don't hear me bet, you know. But yeah, that's a hard thing. And it took me a couple seasons to stop doing that in high school. You know, it's hard. It's not easy. So I totally get it.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, thanks for the advice. I mean, in a perfect world, I would have Anthony on and he can break his journey down for half an hour. This is kind of an awkward week because we've been gone for 2 weeks. So I want to try to catch up with everybody. But Coach Anthony Johns, thanks for coming in and kind of sharing quickly with our journey. But I know a lot of coaches will have questions for you. So hopefully you'd be cool if they could reach out to you in moving forward. And of course, we want you to come back as much as you're available and talk to us youth coaches. We'd love to pick your brain even more than this. But I just wanted to make sure that everyone kind of heard your journey, at least initially, introduce you, and then kind of be one of our, if you're cool with it, one of our high school coaches that we can pick your brain and kind of as we kind of move forward toward that part of our journeys. Kind of maybe use you as a mentor.
Absolutely. Thanks, I'm in both the groups, both the Facebook groups. I don't touch my laptop a whole ton, but yeah, I'm definitely available. Messenger is fantastic to talk on. And if you guys ever want any information, feel free to reach out to me. I mean, I'll give you my number. You can call me. You know, I'm all for it. And then whenever you want to talk one-on-one, by all means, I'm all for it.
You're the man. And I'm sorry, maybe I missed it. Where are you located, bud? In the world?
So I'm in outside of Phoenix, Arizona. So I actually coach.
That's right.
Yeah, my high school is Valley Lutheran in Central Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay, cool. And are you guys full bore right now, full speed ahead, since you're out near Utah, or are you guys?
Yeah, in Arizona. So it looks like the go is our first game will be October 2nd, and so we're a private school. We have low numbers as far as students go. So our students are actually in-person school. So yeah, we're basically full go right now.
Nice, man. Cool. Well, we would love, and we're dying for film. We're dying for especially air raid film. So when you guys start rolling, I don't care if it's high school or middle school or youth, we'd love weekly check-ins. We'd love to hear how Air Raid OC calls his games. We can glean a ton of information off those high school games, even though it's a little different than middle school and youth. But yes, so please, Coach, please stay in contact. If you have time, hang out with us. I'm sure there'll be some questions coming in as we go along tonight. But thanks for joining us, at least just for a few minutes, so we can at least chat with you a little bit and get to know you. So
no problem, absolutely. And Sundays work great, actually. So that's kind of like my free day. I do all my high school stuff on Saturdays, so Sunday's my free day. So this actually works great, Coach. So let me know.
Let's do it. All right, cool. So I want to welcome in Coach Jason Ross real quick. You know, everyone knows Coach Ross. Jason, how you doing, bud?
I'm good. How you doing, Coach?
Survived the hurricanes, huh?
Oh yeah, it was actually kind of a dud through North Carolina.
Hey, don't be talking smack to hurricanes, bro. They might come back and get you. I learned my lesson with earthquakes growing up out here in the Bay. Like, oh, that earthquake wasn't bad, and then like 5 minutes later, it's like, oh yeah, you want to tempt me?
Well, we had one of those a week before the hurricane too. We had an earthquake.
Is that common out there? Earthquakes out in that part of the
No.
It's a scary feeling, huh? It's weird.
I didn't feel it, so I mean, it wasn't, but we just woke up on the news and hey, by the way, it was an earthquake this morning.
Oh yeah.
No idea.
I'm still convinced the West Coast has the most tame of the natural disasters. I think hurricanes are terrifying. Just what they are, like just the definition of a hurricane it's a terrifying thing to me. But yeah, life's good out there, Jason.
Yeah. Getting we are now into the third week of our online virtual school, so it's taking a lot of getting used to. It's keeping us a lot more busy, especially as teachers.
Yeah. So you're a teacher. So how's that going? I mean, my kids. So I every about half an hour I go from my home office, which is what you see, this beautiful set behind me, and I go like do a lap. I have 3 kids in one in high school, 2 in junior high right now. I go do a lap and make sure they're on task. But as a teacher, I can't imagine, like, how do you interact? How do you build relationships? How's that going?
It's definitely. I mean, the teachers are learning as much as the kids are right now.
Yeah, for real.
It's taking a lot of getting used to, but it's kind of taking it day by day, and trying to build lessons for the kids. Because I mean, I teach 6 classes a day, Monday through Friday, and they're all 25 minutes long. So they just got to be snap, get to the point.
That's pretty quick, 25 minutes.
Yeah, it is. It's very quick, and it's you have a lot to say in 25 minutes, and you can't. You gotta make sure you get it all in too.
Good. Well, good, man. Anything to report? Big, small, indifferent. Anything to report before we bring Coach Jolly on to give his Miami report?
Well, I did start a YouTube channel myself. So Coach
That's
Ross
right.
Football. Yeah.
Love it. Great stuff. So say it again. Coach Ross Football on YouTube.
Coach Ross Football. Yep. And then also have a Facebook group, X's and O's Football Talk.
Yep. I love that group too. So all you guys out there, and Jason, I don't know if you want to like send it to me somehow and I could put it up on the screen.
Sure.
But yeah, go follow Coach Ross. Guys, the whole point I created my channel, literally I was watching Mackie and saying, this is everything I need, right? Like I got everything I need. I go take something from Salas, go steal something from Napier, go steal something from Coltharp, but it wasn't centralized, right? So that's the reason I started it, was because I wanted to centralize it for our groups. And I felt like I really should. And like someone needed to do it. And so now we have Coach Eddie Young creating his channel, Coach Jason Ross creating his channel, and Facil Blango. And the whole goal of it, and the whole point that I even started it, was I just want youth and middle school coaches to run the spread. Like, just do it. It will save our sport. It will help our sport. So guys, go follow all these guys that are bringing up channels in our group, in our world. Youth and middle schools, massively underserved. Most of the coaches in those grades, in those levels, didn't play beyond high school, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The fact is we only know what we know. So if we can share knowledge with each other, then we know more, right? At least the option for the coaches like us that want to learn more, it's there for us. And I just want to be able to spread that for everybody. So go one more time, Coach Ross. Say your channel.
Coach Ross Football. You on YouTube, and then the X's and O's Football Talk on Facebook group.
Beautiful. And Coach Ross, as you guys know, if you've been on this channel for a long time, great content, great guy, family man, coach, teacher at the place he coaches. So guys, it's great content. We're just spreading the word. Okay, let's go to Miami, Florida. I'm bringing in Mr. Worldwide. Oh wait, no, that's not Mr. Worldwide. That's Coach Jolly. What's up, Coach Jolly?
What's up, guys? Good to see you all, man.
What's going on, man? Yeah, we can hear you. How's it going, bud?
Great down here, man. The numbers started going. The COVID numbers started going down about 2.5 weeks ago, to the point where they're lower here than other places in the state and things like that. So they're opening things up. Yeah, they're opening things up tomorrow, and we go back to school tomorrow as well. We are in person and online, so that's going to be weird. I'm going to have half the class in front of me and half the class streaming the classroom. So it's going to be a little bit weird, but I'm ready to get back to normal. And the best news is that a couple of weeks ago, the FHSAA had a big meeting, and at first we were all excited because they approved football to start in the whole city, in the whole state. But then they gave everybody an option. You can opt out. So then everyone started freaking out and opting out. In Miami, Florida, they said this isn't fair because the northern part of the state's going to have all these games and practices under the belt, and we're going to have to wait. So Miami-Dade was going to leave the FHSAA and all this stuff, and really some of the middle schoolers, the middle schools teams that we played dropped football for the year. They're not going to play it at all. So we started like getting nervous, and then this past week and the week after or the week prior, we had a lot of athletic directors and things kind of like making a Frankenstein. They just all got together on their own because the leagues are in tatters at this point, because you got one team here wants to play and another one wants to play. They'll play in December, but they won't play, so it was all weird. But they found it. They found some guys that want to play. So we've got 4 games for sure, and then 2 more schools want to play, but they can't play till like November rather. So we might have this strange season where we start playing in mid-October and play all the way till right before Thanksgiving.
That's crazy, man. Well, but, hey, you know what? I'll take 5 games right now, to be honest. I got 0 games right now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and they even, our athletic director even, he mentioned, we're blessed to have lights at our stadium at the school and things like that. So he's like, let's get them out there, red and blue scrimmage under the lights. We'll get someone to announce the game, and
yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
I said, look, if you gave me 4 games and a scrimmage like that, it's because that's the thing. Youth football is canceled down here. It's not happening this year. Everything else,
not even an option.
Not even an option.
Not even like, let's wait and see.
No.
Damn.
Everything else got moved to spring. So the options are absolutely nothing or this kind of late start to the season. But that's what we're doing, and us and about 5 other schools, and then some other, like, we can't. There's other schools that wanted to play, but we can't. They're too big, so we couldn't play some of the other guys. But we found some guys to play, so I was thrilled. The kids are thrilled, and I'm super interested and excited to hear these parent relationship topics, because that's one of the things that I've learned a lot this summer, is that you got to get these parents involved, and now more than ever, it just kind of happened on its own, where you started interacting with the parents more, like, whereas before it was just kind of like, I can't remember who said a couple minutes ago, where it's just like, okay, this and this and this, and then, all right, I'm done. You had to be really intentional and reach out and call and, hey, how you doing? Blah blah blah, and it's worked out, and it's a different thing. It's like, it's not, forget, open grass reads if you don't have mom bought in, so it's been a really interesting summer in that regard, and these are awesome topics. And again, I can't thank, I know I say it all the time, but I can't thank all y'all for doing this, because it was you said it, Matt, a couple years ago. There was information out there, but it was all over the place, and it was really geared towards just a little bit higher. Like, I would be like, yeah, but what about the kid who's like, he's got to go to the, how many times do you lose your quarterback or the receiver because he's got to go to the dentist, or all this stuff. It's like, so all these issues that we end up dealing with are never covered, So
bro, I had a kid call in one day because he had a sunburn, dude. And what do you, like, in a youth, like, you can't tell a kid, you can't force a kid to practice when he's 10, but like, you just look at him like, are you fucking kidding me right now? You have a sunburn? Could you imagine trying to tell your coach that as a kid, that, coach, I'm sorry, man, I just had a sunburn.
He'd invent a drill that made you get hit wherever you were sunburned.
Exactly. Like, come on, bro. Well, good, man. Well, at least, hey, Miami, you got Jolly. You guys have been, like, every week we've been checking this. Like, we're playing. We're not playing. We're maybe playing. Now we're playing. And then we got Kerry Knowles out there who jumped his group. His league,
awesome.
His league canceled, so he jumped to another league, and he's not going to be OC because they already had that figured out. But at least his kid's playing this year, right? So
it's very, like, that's the whole thing, is I don't think people realized, and I get it. I'm not one of those people that says, oh, this is the other thing I've realized. Forever who's listening, really, the masks started coming on in earnest when those numbers spiked up in Miami, everyone's wearing masks now, and it just seems the numbers are way down now. I mean, way, way, way down. It's just like, put on, do what they're telling you to do, I think. And, for the most part, it's gonna be better. And if you want to do anything, you gotta follow those guidelines, I think.
I mean, if nothing else, if it helps us get back on the field, just do it. I mean, whether you believe or not, I mean, gosh, like I said a couple of weeks ago, I drove through Northern California into Oregon a couple of weeks ago on a vacation, and there was a group from about the top of Northern California to the bottom section of Oregon, and maybe Lucha, you can back me up on this, like Klamath Falls down to Shasta in California. It lived like those people didn't believe in it, like they thought it was a hoax, and that's fine. I'm not trying to be political one way or another. I only wear my mask, to be honest, to make you feel comfortable as I'm walking towards you. Right. Like, I don't want you to cringe as I'm walking towards you. Well, so I'll wear the mask.
Yeah, if where you live the numbers are down, it's abstract, But dude, down here they were saying, and like everyone knows a doctor or a nurse, and they were saying, hey, it's filling up down here, so we gotta. And they had opened up a temporary hospital, and there was a whole big thing that no one was in it, so they dismantled it, and then now they're like, oh, we shouldn't have. So it was a big mess. I'm not saying it wasn't, So.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, thanks for checking in, man. I love to see the Miami piece. What's up? What's going on?
When you do your quick game, are you having someone?
Yeah. Let's talk about that. What was your? I couldn't understand your question.
All right, so are you gonna is it like a Q&A, or is someone gonna be presenting? Because I had some questions regarding quick game stuff, like installing stuff that.
Like what?
I can wait till you do it. I don't want to take up any.
I'm not installing Quick Game today, so you tell. What's the question? And maybe I can answer it.
We've been moving in the last week and a half on a real schedule, and it's been working great. What I'm kind of not struggling with, but I want to improve on, is the installation process. And I post about it, and I got some ideas from it. But when we're out there, we're running our drills and things like that, and it's going well, but I'm trying to eliminate the comprehension part of it. And you got to keep in mind social distancing and all. Like, I can't take them to a classroom and huddle, everything's got to be things. So
we teach on the field. So what part in particular though? Like what is the actual piece that you're not being able to coach up?
We're doing it, but here's what we're doing. So when we get out there, we have them line up in their position 2 by 2. And I think I'm going to drop trips this year, because with all the lost time and things like that, I think I'm just going to
What age do you coach again?
I'm sorry?
What age do you coach again? What grade?
6th through 8th.
Oh, man, you got to have trips. So what's holding you up?
When we install and we've got to, go over the play, we have them lined up, and then we're going through, and I got the play that I'm showing them, and I've tried showing them, I've tried going player by player, but the thing is like there's only 2 of us, because the other 2 guys are doing the other guys. So even if it's 2 coaches, even if we go 1 by 1, it's taking time. And is that normal? Is that okay? You know what I'm saying?
It's taking time to tell them what route to run.
It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's like the 7 minutes is done, and it's like if we're gonna be faithful, and I'm trying to be faithful to our schedule. Because if you're not, I think it just defeats the whole purpose, in my opinion. So we're trying to stay faithful to those things, and it's just like, should I take out a drill and put in like an install period or something like that, because it's just taking us time, or what do you guys do? What do you guys do for install?
So let's go around the horn with this. Let me answer first, and I know Jason probably has a lot to say because he coaches middle school at the same level.
Yeah. I got an answer too for you guys.
Good. So let me start. So first of all, when you first start installing this stuff, yes, will the day 1 install of Quick Game be different than day 6? 100%. Day 1 and day 2 and day 3 of the same plays. For sure. It's going to go a little slower, and you're going to have to explain what each person does on each play. Because I 100% believe, like Coach Taylor, we learn in 3D. We learn on the field. We don't do any chalk talks on offense. My defensive guys like to do it. I don't really mess with them too much. I let them do what they want to do. But on offense, we are learning in 3D on the field. I very much believe in that we don't need to chalk talk. I'm not saying it's bad if you want to take 15 minutes and just show real quick what's going to happen, but I don't do that. So number one, just osmosis wise, as you guys get used to running these plays, as they get used to running these plays, week one or day 1 to day 3 to day 6 on those specific plays, that should over time, they should be able to learn it by the end of camp. Now, to verify what you're saying, I actually did. If you guys go to Kinko's, I don't know what you guys have in your areas.
Yeah.
There's these printed. I literally did this because I was so scared of what you're talking about right now. Because I'm the kind of coach. If I look up and I see one group of 8 and there's 7 kids just standing there when one person is running the drill, I get pissed and I go, hey, split those groups up and do the same drill with all 4 kids so they get more reps. So to combat that, because I know my own proclivity to get mad about stuff like that, I went to Kinko's and literally printed on these big, and basically what they are real estate boards that people stick in the yards of people's houses, in the front yards. I literally made ace right or ace Y stick, and basically I just took the huddle plays that I had, stuck them on these real estate boards so I could stick them in the grass and just pointed. We're doing Y stick right now. Here's Y stick. You see your position? Okay, go run it. So the next group could look back and see, okay, we're in Y stick. I know exactly what my position is, and they can run it. That's how I've combated that. So at least while they're learning, they can look back and see it. After a couple of weeks, it's inconsequential. You don't need it anymore. But especially during that learning period, that's what I did. Visual aids, because again, that's how I learned. Ross, what's your answer to his question?
We don't start until February. So we were allowed to set up virtual classrooms with our guys. And so I'm a big believer of mental reps are almost as important as the physical reps on the field. So if you can get as much, maybe set up a Google Classroom yourself with your guys and say, hey, this is what we're going to do on the field, tomorrow, the next day, and hammer out the mental reps so that all of a sudden when we get ready to start the drills, they know exactly where to go. And that takes a little bit less time and it gives you a little bit more opportunity for actual physical reps on the field. Because that's what I'm going to be doing with my guys now, because I have from now until February, where I got them all in class and we meet twice a week for half an hour and we're just hammering out, okay, what do you do here? What do you do here? What do you do here? And going through each play step by step by step. And then we go through the drills and say, this is why we're doing these drills. And so by the time we get to February, they're already going to know, it's going to be hammered in their brains. Hey, this is where I got to go. This is what I got to do. And this is what I got to, for each drill. So that might be a possibility.
I like both these ideas. These are cool. We can. It's going to be super easy because with all the tools that the school gave us for remote learning, that'll be simple. So now, and my last thing I promise is when do you guys share okay, so for me, watching the videos that you guys post of the cut-ups, I need that. Like, this is me personally. I need to see that and then take that out with me out to the field 3-dimensionally. So that makes sense. I need both. You know what I'm saying? So are you guys, when you're doing your virtual classrooms, are you just doing chalk talk type stuff? Or are you showing them clips? Or what are you doing the Mike Hardwick and actually showing them on the camera what you do?
Me personally, I'm doing a little bit of both, quite honestly. And then I'm also, when the drills, if we're in the drills, I'm showing them, okay, I'm actually using like a online whiteboard where I'm saying, okay, you got to, this is how we do settle a noose and, things like that. I'm showing YouTube videos. I'm saying, hey, go check this stuff out on your own as well. So
cool.
You
guys have probably saw the first thing I ever did was do an article for Youth Football Online.
That's how I found you, Matt.
Exactly. And those videos on that were the videos I showed there. The first 6 videos I ever made were for these students, not for you guys. They were for the students to learn stick, corner, all verts, shallow, and mesh. And they were with me talking to the students. Here's the play, and I used our clips from last year so they can see actual. So I did it on Huddle, broke down the diagram, and then showed them what the plays looked like in real life. And that was my first introduction to YouTube. And they still use that. So I tell them, hey, before we go on the field, we're going to learn stick tomorrow. Watch this video. So you have at least an idea of what I'm going to say. And it's literally, I use the same language. I use the same terminology. It's mirroring exactly what I'm going to say to them the next day. So I have a video playback. We don't even give the kids the huddle playbook that I share with you guys.
Right.
I don't, it's just one of those things. Coach Anthony Johns, I think you said you had a good response, or was that somebody else?
No, that was me, but Coach Ross hit it in the nail. I mean, just kind of showing them video, like doing the classroom thing. I mean, that's going to be kind of the way I would do it, because kids want to see it also. So you hit it also, Coach Lasker, with having the sheet or the sign there for him. I think that is kind of where I was going with that too.
Beautiful.
Cool.
Well, Eddie Young, Coach Lucci, anything to add to it before he bounces?
Yeah, man.
Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, the one thing I would just make sure is that the drills that you're doing in your indie period actually match what you want to do during the practice, during your install. I ran into a small situation. I'm coaching the offensive line and working on my zone steps, working on all that, and then the coach is like, "Yeah, we're running this wedge today," and I'm like, "Bro, tell me." So,
yeah, no, that part thank God I was watching one of you guys a while back, and that part was good. My thing was like, I was like, man, we're kind of like taking up time and it was just like the time spent, because I had to go like each kid and go, and even though I had the other coach on the other side, it still takes time. So no, this is all good stuff. So yeah, I think we got our drills to match at least.
Good, beautiful. All right, cool. Hey, I wanted to acknowledge B Nick 304. Sounds like B Nick, you're in San Diego. Thanks for chiming in on the chat. This comment that I'm showing at the bottom, I think that, like, honestly, youth football is the only sport that doesn't have AAU style travel teams. Okay, so baseball, travel teams. Like it's in our area. The traditional little leagues in our town are dying very early deaths because of these travel teams. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Little league, in my estimation, when my kid has been going through it of late, it's very frustrating, very much like what I said earlier, to watch a guy that can't throw a baseball try to teach my son how to throw a baseball. So these travel teams at least secure true coaches that are like kind of at that next step in their coaching journey. Basketball, obviously everyone knows AAU. I mean, there's a case to build that it's more important that kids play AAU basketball than their high school team. And it's a real thing. So Coach B, Nick, I'm with you on this 100%. I think that's the future of not only youth football is trying to find travel squads, but high school as well. And I don't want to be someone that's kind of going to be part of the death of high school footballs and public schools in America. Because I love the tradition of rivalries here and there. But the fact that these schools are so dependent on the governance around each of these schools to even like our high school teams can't even practice right now, but my youth team can't. Like there's something wrong there, right? So creating teams, travel teams at the youth and middle school level, we're already considering that. For me, when this organization T-Birds, it's been around 60 years. I was a T-Bird when I was in middle school. I love it to death. I'm the AD there now. But I think that there is a market for you guys as you guys look at what you're going to do with your time in the future. There's a market for travel middle school teams 100%. We can go drive 30 minutes left and 30 minutes right, north and south, and find other teams to go play teams with. So I think that is going to be a very, very popular option moving forward. And we can talk about that in future episodes. But B, Nick, I appreciate you chiming in. That's really great. I am dying to get to Coach Lucci and to show his video. And I did not think we would have this great of conversation to go an hour before we could even get to him. So Coach Lucci, we're almost there. Coach Jolly, thanks for chiming in. I'm going to bring in a couple more people, man. Please hang tight. Please continue to comment on the side. But I need to bring in a few more people just so we can get to Coach Lucci pretty soon. Coach Jolly, it's great checking in, man. Thanks for coming by, man.
See you guys, man.
All right, take it easy. My boy David Hunter, he's been MIA for a month, man. Where you been, David? What's going on?
We're full blown into football. I'm practicing 3 days a week.
That's why. I hear you.
And I got all new kids. No one's ran the system before, so I forgot how fun it is and challenging it is to try to take kids that have played, that either never been on a winning team, don't understand that culture, don't understand that it's more fun to throw the football instead of watching one kid run the ball 300 times. Finding a tight end, finding my why, all that kind of stuff. So it's been a blast. But and then of course, like balancing that with my wife and the kids, and it's hard when I leave at 5 and get back at 8 and like, hey babe, I'm gonna jump on this
more football
thing. Don't be we're good, right? We're good.
Nothing personal.
So I was like, Sundays, yes. But we're full blown. High school and middle school had their first games last week. We had some
just to frame it for everyone before you get too far in. You're in Tennessee, right?
I'm in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So
Yes,
we're
sir.
right there on the Georgia line. So I get the Georgia high school, I get the Tennessee high school. My man, Arkansas, I get their stream, so that's cool. So I like to go there and watch that kind of stuff. So we're full blown into it. We got 2 weeks before our first game. I've opted out of the preseason stuff. I could have played a game this weekend and the next weekend, but I just wanted to kind of spend some more times getting the basics down. We've done some scrimmages. I call them joint practices. I don't really try to scrimmage. I like to kind of coach in the middle of those preseason. But yeah, man, I'm fired up to be back. Sundays is going to be freaking awesome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up with the film, dude? What's up? Where's the film?
I tried the telephone pole, the phone pole with the book bag, painter's pole with a GoPro. That did the epic fail. I'm trying to recruit a dad now and like teach them how to film, because like this sounds bad, but like the one guy, I was like, hey man, I'm sorry, you can't film anymore. You can't talk like that while you're filming. Because I'm like, I'm not taking the time to
He's out there cussing.
Cussing, and he's like, man, my son would have took that one to the house.
Oh,
I'm
God, calling other kids out. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I'm like, like that's one thing I won't tolerate. As a coach, I tell everybody, you can call me any day or night. You want to talk about how your son can get more playing time? We'll talk about what he can do. The minute you mention another kid's name, I hang up the phone. I won't tolerate it.
Yes, sir.
So it's been a blast. I'm just so excited. We're out there just, I'm running. I got to catch myself though in scrimmages, because I'll just go 6 and run NASCAR. And my other coach is like, dude, we got to work on the other plays. It's not a game. And I'm like,
coach, it's 7 plays in 1.
He's like, and it was bad. So we're the 12-year-olds. We're really 11 with a couple 12s. And we were scrimmaging our 10U team. So they're a year younger than us. The first time we scrimmaged them, we played on a baseball field, and I purposely ran the ball up the middle because that's what they see. And to be honest, they smoked our kids because we passed set 9 out of every 10 plays. And they started bragging, so we were scrimmaging them again on a real football field, and I was doing what they wanted, and their coach said something snark to me, and I was like, run 6, NASCAR. And then we scored 7 touchdowns in a row. And I was like, so now we've gotten this out of the way. We're trying to help each other. Clearly, I have older kids, but, let's just relax and let's get better. But so that's fun. I mean, I'm having a blast. I could go back and I would like to go back and answer the install question that Jolly asked.
Yeah, please. Love it.
So I have normally do it typical 3-week install, go 2x2, 3x1, green. I don't call blue. I call green. I tell my quarterback to send them to the Y to the wide side of the field. So I only have green, and it's just the money symbol. Trying to come up with a cute symbol for blue was too hard for me.
Johnny Manziel.
We just do signals, and the kids like that Johnny Manziel thing. I hate.
Hey, so for blue, just a quick suggestion, Coach, is I use 2 hands of the Johnny Manziel. So we do 1 hand for green, and then we do 2 hands for blue. And so
you got some smart kids. You got some smart kids, because I got 6 as this, where I put both hands up, and I had another play where I did Longhorns, and they couldn't tell the difference between the Texas Longhorn. I'm on the wrong screen. Texas Longhorn and me doing this. And I was like, all right, cool, guys. I was like, I'll let my quarterback decide. But I also don't tell my quarterback right or left. I call a run play and let him decide if he's going to run to the right or left. So he tells the line which way to block. I try to give the quarterback as much responsibility as possible.
Yeah, sure.
And it gets fun. But so I'll have the games filmed. I tried to get some settle up in Noose. I actually changed the name of that to Perfect Drill. We dropped the Noose term after I had to explain why we say that. But then I realized I gotta come up with a different way to say that because it's just
Noose doesn't go a long way in 2020. It's a little some people.
So
some
I like
people
Perfect
might
Drill
take it
actually. Yeah, some people did, and so I was like, cool. I was like, that's what I was taught to me as, but I can change the name of it, no problem. So I like Perfect Drill because I tell them we have to be perfect. If you're not perfect in this drill, I don't care if it's the cut, I don't care if it's fast hands, fast feet. I don't care if you don't. A lot of guys get lazy and don't want to step and throw their hands out to meet the ball, and I'll stop it. I'm like, you're not running it perfect. It's perfect drill for a reason. So that's kind of actually helped because I'd say I'm passionate. I'm working on not using curse words in a passionate way. I've never cussed at a kid, but I get excited. I'm like, that's what I'm fucking talking about. I'm like, oh, sorry. But
for sure.
So having some fun there. But yeah, so we're full blown open, killing it, and just ready. Our first game will be September 12th, and so we have 5U to 12U. Middle school's already started, and then the other thing I'll go back to real fast is we do have AAU style travel teams in the South.
It's already established before this.
There's teams in Atlanta that strictly we have a team. They're in a league, but it's preseason and postseason. I mean, you're traveling. Like we do 3 or 4 tournaments after the year. We do a couple before the year, but we have. So last year, I realized we were messing up. So I combined 3 or 4 teams together and we went and did postseason stuff. And we traveled down to Atlanta and got our, almost pulled out a win against the City of Atlanta team from their youth league. They did the same thing. And if it wasn't for the air raid, we would have got smoked because we were able to scheme, hitches out of that when they ran a 4-3. And we're just like, if they're going to give us a hitch, we'll just keep taking this hitch. Because, we played like a wing T team and just tried to milk the clock and everything against what I believe in. But I realized they were a superior team. And for the first time ever, we were going to lose if we just tried to play as fast as they were. But nonetheless, we have it down here. So it is coming. It's very big in the South, major cities. Miami has some stuff down there that are with the youth as well that travel. Most teams are in a league. But they do Sunday select games, and then preseason and postseason. They're traveling all over, from Texas, Atlanta, and Dallas. I could go to Dallas right now and probably take me 15 minutes to find a game for Sunday, as long as the loser pays for the refs.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, I honestly think it's the future, and there's really no way around it. I mean, there's going to be some parents have been so up in arms out here about just not even having an option for their kids. And, everyone kind of talked when COVID first said, I'm going to move to Texas. But, it's a lot to move your damn whole world to another state. I mean, it's a lot of lip service, but not that many. I know, there's a couple of people that I know that move, but, I think that's the future.
If my kid was D1 and you were going to shut down and I thought he had a potential to miss out his senior year, I would consider moving then, and that would be, I would think about it. Outside of that, no one's moving.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I just feel so bad for those juniors or seniors that are in high school right now. I got a seventh grade kid. It's like, yeah, it sucks to lose a year, but we got some time. But those juniors, golly, if you were a junior right now, I'd be going crazy like that. You got 2 years of film to get out. And I had good film. I had some decent numbers, but I still got recruited. So I couldn't imagine the guys that are on the fence right now that are not 3-star, 4-star, 5-star recruits. They're just trying to get some visibility. It's over. They're just done. They lose a whole year of possible visibility. All right, cool, man. Well, it was great catching up, David. I want to keep you on here. I want to get to Coach Lucci. Let me just go down to the valley down in Central South California, Southern California. Manny, Coach Manny, what's going on? How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fine. How's everybody? I'm currently on vacation in OKC, visiting my daughter and my grandkids.
Nice.
They are participating in football this year. I saw a youth football team doing a fundraiser.
Beautiful.
But just this last week, I was in Missouri visiting my wife's side of the family, and I was at a high school football game on Friday. First game of the year.
Were you guys socially distanced?
No. No mask. No mask. So small town, 2,300. Fire engine. The town fire engine comes down blaring with the alarms and the sirens and stuff, and then the football team spills out from behind it.
Oh man!
Comes on the field, and it looked a little rough at the beginning, but the home team won. The other team showed up with 25 kids on their varsity.
Ooh.
So it's true small town football. The home team, Marceline, they had their varsity and junior varsity together, which I thought was smart because if somebody really needed a break, they could put somebody in. The other team was gassed by the end of the game.
Oh,
you could just tell. But they were throwing the ball and no air raid though. It was spread, but they were running a lot of wing tee and actually that flex bone. I saw no mesh, no stick, no wide corner. The only quick game I saw was screens. Other than that, they were running 3 and 4 second long patterns. I'm wondering why the quarterback was getting slobber knocked. First game
That's the thing.
And I looked at the roster. These kids, their linemen were 210, 215. Smaller guys. And I'm counting 1,001, 1,002, 1,000. Ooh, quarterback just got nailed. And they were throwing posts that didn't break till 15 yards downfield.
Yeah.
But it was live football. Let me tell you,
live.
I was sitting there shaking. Sirius Jones had a fix. Looked like I was doing heroin. I was all blistered.
Scratching. Give me some of that football. I love it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, hey,
anyway,
you know what? A lot of people spread to run. AJ, I think I saw AJ on here earlier, AJ Knudsen, who was our flexbone guy that presented last time we actually had a show. The original intent to get in the spread formation was just to thin out the box. So I don't fault people for doing it. I just feel like people haven't yet heard about it yet. Okay, now you're spread the field. You can run. Great. Now how about some strategy behind throwing instead of just dropping back and saying, here's a throw here's something that I saw somewhere that's a cool pattern that the 49ers used to run 10 years ago. Like, that's what we want to do, right? Introduce the next thought process. But I love it, man. You got to see what took you out to OKC. Your daughter lives out there? My son's in the Navy out here at Tinker Air Force Base. Oh, cool. And then so we drove for a few days to Missouri, and now we're back in OKC. But interesting enough that YouTube class with Knudsen, they were running some of those plays he drew up. Yeah. Oh, I bet. Yeah. That's big time. There were some good hits. It started off rough. It got better at the end. What's going on down there in the where are you guys at? The 916? Can't remember. What's the valley? 808? I'm trying to remember the valley down there. 909. We're completely shut down. No fall sports. And Southern California. Our youth programs, there's no insurance coverage if you're not participating in the league. So we can't get a couple of kids together unless everybody's willing to absolve anybody of any liability. So someone twists a knee at the park or whatever, there's no guarantee that mom and dad aren't going to sue us. So we just don't do anything. Yeah. So I mean, that shut down. That's been my thing. I have this side business, Diablo Football Academy, outside of the T-Birds. We have full insurance. We've been running non-contact camps outside of our T-Birds because you can only do so much through the organization. And that was my biggest fear, is just exposing yourself as a business in this climate. We're doing it now, and we are over the top. The kids are wearing masks. Coaches are wearing masks. I literally have coaches wiping down bags, literally between each rep of tackling a bag and doing the roll for defense and stuff. So, we're doing everything we can to keep them safe. We're doing everything we can to keep these kids active, to keep them running, to keep them socializing. I think that is as much as important as the actual football. Like these kids need. I can't tell you the kids that I've seen that have been like literally sheltering in their house for these 3, 6, however months it's been at this point. Man, that's a big mind. That's a big deal. These kids not interact, and some of these families are not as like free as us to be like, hey, let's just go in a controlled environment, get these kids out. Some parents, and I don't blame them. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but are literally sheltering in place, and their kids are as well, and they're not getting the social interaction. So it's just one of those things where, like you're saying, your community, they'd rather not. That's great. I put it out there. We sold out 56 slots at $300 an hour, or $300 for a month. We sold out in an hour for 56 kids. So there's demand out there.
You do $350 an hour, man, and I'm
not an hour. I'm sorry, for a month. It's a month. It's a session. But still, I mean,
when you said
there's
an hour,
demand.
I'm like, damn, I'd do that for $350 an hour too.
But there's a demand for it. Like parents want their kids out there getting exercise, socializing, and yeah, are we teaching football on top of it? Heck yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, it's good checking in with you, man. Yeah.
The one thing I can say too about watching a high school football game is it made me appreciate what we're doing here with the air raid, simplifying things, because I thought that they got a little too fancy, didn't have their plays down because there was too much variety and there was too much of a mismatch of different philosophies. Like I saw wing tee and flex bone and a couple of other things all on one team instead of just coming in simple, especially with everybody not knowing whether they were going to have football. They would have been better off just concentrating on 10 really good plays and getting really. I couldn't believe the amount of empty formations they ran with lines that weren't prepared. And so then all they did out of the empty was run screen. If they ran anything long, the quarterback was looking up at the sky.
Absolutely.
And they took some shots. The quarterbacks took some shots, both of them, in the game. So.
Yeah. Well,
anyway,
that kind of offense is kind of all or nothing. Yeah. And we appreciate you chiming in and giving us an update. Southern California, especially in the valley out there, it's a different breed. So we love checking in with you and learning what's going on in your world, Manny. So please keep it going. Please continue to check in with us. We'd love it. Again, I just want to get Mike Hardwick in now. Mike, Mississippi middle school air raid, probably the biggest air raid veteran of all of us in here. Mike, how's it going, buddy?
What's up? How's you guys? I have really enjoyed the night. Some of you guys have done some spot on stuff. Really good.
Yeah. Well, it's great. I mean, usually we try to have clinics going where we do X's and O's on one thing or another. But, I wanted to try to take tonight and just catch up with everybody. What's going on out there with you guys, Mike, in Oxford, Mississippi?
Yeah. Tonight you hadn't done any X's and O's, and it has been just as good as your other stuff. It's been some good stuff. Mississippi is high school. This is game week for high schools. This is their first. We were delayed till August the 17th. Most schools were delayed, and a lot of schools are starting tomorrow. We started last week. So this is game week. September 4th, this Friday night, is the first game for high schools. And middle school start the following week. We actually have an open date. So it's all gearing up here in the next couple of weeks for varsity, then 7th and 8th grade in middle school. JV and freshmen the following week around September the 10th, that sort of thing. So, I was late this evening because I've been fortunate. I was dealing with my first positive test today. So, that's the we're living in. That just blew up this afternoon since we talked around lunchtime today. And so, it is real, and that just kind of segues into your parent relations. Your parents are scared about you. You're talking about your kids participating and all that. It's a real thing. A lot of parents don't want their children to participate, even though, like you say, kids want to. And the parents want them to. They're just, there's legitimate reasons for them not to be. Yeah. Depending on your community and everything, it is a difficult time. Difficult decisions for parents to make. It is. Yeah,
it is. And we started our camps, and that's one of the reasons I've been MIA for 2 weeks. We started our camps, and we were like, let's prepare. We have COVID precautions. We're outside. We have the field rented. COVID precautions for outdoors. We've got the field. We've got the 56, like I said, a sold out 56 slots at $300 an hour, sold out in an hour. And that's serving only a little 25% of our T-Bird organization. Usually have 200 kids in our organization every year. But now, so we start Monday, and I don't know if you guys have been tracking out here in Cali, but we had wildfires that started on Tuesday. So we beat the COVID, we got all that figured out, and then all of a sudden Wednesday we have to cancel for freaking wildfires for 2 weeks, and now we got an indoor place now. So Coach, I'm with you. Like we have to be nimble, right? We have to be able to adjust to whatever's coming on the fly. I'd love to hear about. So you literally got that positive test today, or somebody said they felt sick today? Like, tell us a little bit more and how you handled it, because I think that's something we're all going to be dealing with if we have a winter.
I mean, I've been real fortunate over the whole summer. Well, what we do is every day, like most schools, you have your temperature checks. We do it. So do the kids when they first get to school. This was my player, big old dude, and he came to school Tuesday morning, and he didn't pass the temperature check. They sent him home, and since that's a direct COVID symptoms, they said you're quarantined 14 days until you go get a test. Well, most kids take the test, and then after 3 days, 72 hours, they can come back. So that happens pretty routinely, but of course, he did the. So he went and they didn't do the fast test. They did the for real test, and it took until I guess yesterday or today till the results came back. So they sent him on Tuesday. He probably did the test on Wednesday. Test came back. So by the time we all heard about it, it was early afternoon today. So the school sent home letters about if you've been in direct contact. Oh, it's a mess. It's a mess. But that's the world we're living in. But for you, a couple of you guys are also 7th and 8th grade coaching. The locker room, dressing for practice is exhausting. Cleanup is exhausting. Just keeping them separating, dressing in shifts. Get in, get out, take your stuff, and then the cleanup. We have to wash everything after every practice. And it's it's just exhausting. I have in our program, we have 100 guys. Basically, we have about 50 guys a team, 7th grade, 8th grade. We have about 100 guys, and so we've all practiced every day. Well, we can't practice every day because it takes all of our coaches. We have to have a coach to come in to get the online learners to check them in with their temperature because they haven't been there. They have to go through a certain door. We have to dress our kids in shifts and separate them and take them to other locker rooms and hallways and weight rooms and have them separated. So, I mean, it takes 30 minutes, to get them all separated and dressed safely and going in one door and out the other. So we're only practicing each group every other day. So we're way, way far behind. And I don't think we haven't been in full pads yet because we'll have to wash the pants every day. Well, it takes me all day to wash the pants. I mean, those are just the little bitty things that if you're not a coach and all of us are coaches that people don't think of how exhausting that you have to do. And of course, after they leave, we have to clean up and defog and all that. It is exhausting, man. It really is.
Yeah, that's brutal, man. And I think about what we do every day. I was describing earlier, we were like wiping down bags between every rep. I mean, it is like we don't even do it as much as you do, but it's exhausting for us too. So. Yeah. Very cool, man. Well, awesome. Let's get to Coach Lucci after an hour and 24 minutes. Holy cow. Coach Lucci, I apologize. I did not mean to. I thought we'd get to you within half an hour, but it's been great catching up with everyone. Obviously, as you can see, this is a very personal group that we all want to, learn about what everyone's doing. Coach Lucci, I'm going to show the first video that you sent me on Facebook. But maybe you want to set it up and just once again, just kind of reintroduce what this program is, what it's for, what the charity is all about, because I think it's like the coolest thing that I've ever seen. And I hope that I can get involved down here in the Bay Area with it.
Okay, so the Oregon All-State game brings together the best 6th, 7th, and 8th graders from across the state of Oregon, and they play in a game. they'll go and stay out at the dorms. At 1 year, we stayed at University of Oregon. We stayed at Oregon State. The kids hang out at the dorms all week, practice, eat, go to magic shows, baseball games, that type of stuff. Then they play a game on Saturday. But it's to raise awareness for kids in foster care.
That's so cool, man.
So it's an all-star game. Players. So it's basically players from the Portland area against kids from the rest of the state.
This thing is so cool that you guys take a weekend to just like, and it was like back in the day, I don't know if they do that much anymore, where you go for a weekend with a group of people and, you know, you do like campfires and you do dinners together and you do all these functions together and you know, someone ends up crying at the campfire because you talked about something deep and, you know, people are like, just kids that you would never see like expose their inner being do it because it just happens to be in this setting. I just think it's so cool, man. So this kind of, when I was watching this video, it kind of reminded me of those throwbacks to the 80s and 90s when we were all doing these kind of bigger camps. I just don't think they do that kind of stuff anymore. And the fact that it's centered around football.
It definitely is. It's just like that, man. There's a lot of team bonding that goes on, and I still keep in contact with kids that I coached 3 years ago in this thing. So,
and not only for the kids is a cool opportunity. I mean, you've kind of talked to me just in passing, and we need to connect a little bit deeper on it. But it's also a really cool opportunity for the coaches. I mean, it's an invite-only coaching staff, right, that gets to participate in being a part of the coaching of these kids. And this, I mean, you guys went to Oregon State and basically stayed in their dorms. I mean, that's pretty cool stuff for a youth or middle school level football squad.
Yeah, it's definitely a good experience.
Cool. Okay, so I'm going to show this video, guys. Hang tight. I'm going to put it on the screen real quick. And we're going to just watch this together because I just think I think it's just so cool. Hold on one second while I tee it up.
He gone.
That kid right there, that was Joey Olsen. He's the real deal, man. He's a good guy, good player for sure.
He looked really good.
He's probably about 6'2", 6'3". I actually had to play against him this year. Yeah. So this guy it's showing right here is actually who I coached against the first 2 years. He was the head coach of the other team. And we hooked up that first week out there, just at practices, in between practices, talking and stuff. And now we actually work a lot together.
Yeah. So I guess the audio is not playing, Coach Lucius. So maybe you want to talk us through it while we're talking. How many kids? Like, how do they decide who gets invited? You said the Portland group is one group, and then everybody else is kind of in a bucket. How do they decide who gets invited to this?
So they send out nomination letters to coaches across the state and players. This kid right here, Teeny Tally, that's Fooey's son, the big guy who was just talking. But so they send out nomination forms, and then coaches nominate players, and then you have to send in their huddle film, their highlight reels.
Cool.
So the kids make highlight reels, and then they go through and they watch. So they start doing nominations. They're due like in the middle of October, and then they start selecting the players about January. But they break down all. There's another guy right here, Luke Ash. This dude is a baller for sure.
Nice.
This I don't know if this is the play. Yeah, this guy is for real. But anyway, so they break down all the film and they kind of break them into position groups. When you get there, they hand you a roster and they're like, this dude's a receiver, so you don't have to worry about evaluating any of them when you get there. That's all done for you. You just basically go out there and here's your list of receivers, here's your running backs, here's your DBs.
Love it. And so who gets to decide like what offense you're running? I mean, are you guys trying to run air raid? You guys trying to run spread? Like who gets to decide that?
Whoever's head coach.
Nice. Love it.
So yeah, basically, and they try to they select coaches. They don't really want like wing T. They want the ball to be aired out. They want to kind of showcase these kids.
Modern, yeah, for sure.
So.
That's so cool, man. And so what about the kids? Like, how do the kids get these invites? Or is it like, how do they do that? I don't know. It's a big state, right? Like, it's not a small state. How do you decide who gets to get the invite?
So, like I said, they send out these nominations to coaches. It started off, they sent them out to the high school coaches, and they were kind of give the nominations out to the feeder programs. And how I do it is I look at, if I'm playing a team and I know there's a player that we need to worry about, those are the type of guys that I nominate. So I try to nominate players from other teams.
Nice.
If that makes sense.
No, that's cool, man.
And that's actually how I found out about it is somebody had nominated a player from our team and they didn't know his name or anything. They just had a number. And I'd actually kind of just heard about it and I didn't have any contact information for anybody. And I'm the type of guy, I'll just, write email or just reach out to people, Totally. So I go and I kind of look it up online and I'm like, oh, I heard you're looking at one of our players. And so we're looking at number 11 or whoever it was. And so I'm like, well, you guys looking for coaches? This was the first year they were doing it up here in Oregon. He said, well, not at this point. We're just looking for players. The coaches will come. And I'm like, all right, cool. Well, here's my number. Call me if you guys are interested. And I was in the doctor's office one day and I get a phone call and I answer it. And, hey, this is Leif. We're wanting to know if you're still interested in coaching. And so I kind of go through the interview process with them. And this was months later after I'd talked to him. I found out I ended up getting it. But it's man, it's a good deal. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's so cool, man. I don't know. More than just like me wanting to do it myself and doing it for my kid. I just think it's such a unique thing to be able to give these kids that experience. Like I said, that I think it's so like next level to take these kids to a point where they're just playing football with their friends, but then to like get them in a place where you can really dig in and get around a campfire, whatever the case may be. That's just a whole nother level to it. So that's so cool, man.
So with everything being shut down this year, usually the game's in June. We just played, 2-3 weeks ago at the beginning of August. We ended up going out to Idaho to play the game.
Nice.
And so the kids didn't get to stay in the dorms or anything this year, but they'd rented out every room in a hotel. And so we had the hotel, which was pretty fun. They brought the magic show. They did the magic show out there in the parking lot. One of the other coaches is like a rapper. So he did a rap concert kind of deal out in the parking lot.
I love it.
It was fun, man. A lot of fun.
Love it. And Coach Mark Stamper. Hey, Mark, how's it going, man? I haven't seen your name for a few weeks. So sad we've been away. Do you know the story behind like what how they chose foster kids versus other charities, or is there some deep story behind that?
The guys who put it on, they have foster kids themselves.
Yeah.
They foster, so
Cool, man. And so
and
you said there's
it's a big crisis out here in Oregon for sure. They do it in they started it in Idaho. I think they've been doing it like 15, 16 years out in Idaho. They've had guys like Leighton Vander Ash, both Josh Hill and Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
Played it out in Idaho. They do it out in California, but for high schools, and they play in like December. The Tri-County games, so it's like Napa Valley, Sonoma, those areas. They've been
I was
doing
going
it
to
out
ask
there
you.
for a
You
while.
mentioned it to me initially, like you said, there's something down in my area, and I know you lived. You said you lived in this area, like the Bay Area, for a minute, right?
I lived in Reno. I was born and raised in Reno. My son actually lives out in Sacramento.
Oh, cool. And so you said there might be one down here in the Bay Area, though, right? Like you said.
Yeah, but the one in the Bay Area is for high school athletes.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I can entice them to that. I can help them at the middle school level, because I think this is just. I want my son to be exposed to, not his team only, but like, hey, can we get a group of kids that from all over the Bay Area together so he can, we play. Trust me, the league we play in is highly competitive, and we cross every socioeconomic border when we play these games. But like to get in and have a chance to be on the same team as, and to share a campfire and share a meal with kids from all over the Bay Area, that type of stuff it's invaluable. I would love my kids.
That's the cool thing too, because they get like 3 or 4 kids in a room, in a dorm, and they hang out for the week, and you get to know just so many different people that you would never. Maybe you've played against them, but that's about it,
Totally.
And then to hang out with them and become a family in a short period of time.
Yeah, I mean it's the little conversations in between, like what we're doing on the football field. That's when you make relationships, right? Like when you just are bullshitting and talking whatever in your dorm room, right? Just like talking crap about the coach or whatever
Right.
It may be, right? Like
that's
when you build it, and that's when you get to know, like, gosh, this person, even though they don't talk like me or think like me or act like me, we're just silly and we both like Fortnite or whatever it is, right? Like they'll find some common ground and realize that he's just like me. He doesn't look like me, but he's just like me. And I think in today's world, like that's what we need, right? Like, and I don't think that's an issue with kids. It's us adults that have it ingrained with us, whatever predetermined things that our parents passed along. They might not even know that they passed along, and their grandparents passed along. Like, it's so timely, Coach Lucci, and I think it's such an important thing, and it's something that our game offers that not many other sports can offer. So I just think it's so cool, and I appreciate you pinging me on social media and kind of letting me know about it, because I think you coaches out there watching this type of thing, this is what takes football to be and keeps football as that sport that can shine a light where other sports can't. You just can't replicate this kind of stuff, guys. Can't replicate a kid getting punched in the mouth and being able to say, get up, man, you can do it. Just get up and get back in there. And they fix it on the next play. They win the next play, and all of a sudden their confidence is up. And these type of opportunities for them that Coach Lucci's talking about, you can't replicate this stuff. And gosh, I just don't want football to go anywhere because of things like this. So thanks for joining us, Coach Lucci. I know I told you we'd get to you a lot earlier than we did, but I'm so grateful that you came on and kind of shared what you guys are doing up in Oregon, because it's such a cool program. So thank you, man.
Oh yeah, not a problem, man. Thanks for letting me hang out and BS with you guys, and I'll be back on any other time you want, man. For sure.
Yeah. And we want middle school coaches that have the knowledge like you. And I guess I never even asked you on the side piece. Are you air raid, or what's your deal as far as coaching
definitely goes? Yeah. Like you were talking about earlier, it's going into my second year air raid. But cool. I do a lot of it so I continue it outside of the junior high stuff. I'm pretty much with my kids all year round. So we do 7-on-7 together, and then we do this thing.
Nice.
So we have like a whole spring season. So we've been doing it for about 18 months now.
Love it. And how old are
We
your
take 'em-
kids?
Well, my kids are the kids I coach.
Well, what? I guess both. Is it intertwined at this point where your kids are coach and in your
I
personal kids?
actually, this will be my first year. I'll have one of my kids that I've coached my older boy. He's 17. He plays down there, almost 17. The one that's down in Sacramento. I coached him for a while. I'll have my other boy is going to be a 7th grader this year. So if we actually get a tackle season, I will be coaching him at some point.
And that's a whole nother topic we can go off on, like coaching your kids versus not. I coached my kid the first year that I had him. We won a title together. I purposefully went up to 8th grade and started coaching that level to get away from him a little bit. But it's a whole different. I mean, there's dynamics on both sides of that. That's hard to deal with. So that's cool, man. That you get a chance to come around and now have your kid. It's not like you only coach your kid, which I think that can be a problem. The daddy ball thing, with youth, right? But it's great that you've shown that you will do it with and without.
Yeah, it'll definitely be fun. I work with them a lot, during the off season, but for sure, it's definitely going to be a trip to coach them.
Yeah, that's fun, man. Well, awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Coach Lucci. And hey, you have a panel on this group. Anytime you want to chime in, I think everyone would love to pick your brain on anything that you're doing and what they need to do. So we'd love it if you continue to stay with us on future Sunday nights. I don't know if you heard, but we used to do it on Monday nights in particular because I thought Middle School Monday sounded cool. But we're all kind of doing practice or camps or some way, shape, or form. It's hard for us all to get on a Monday. So
that's why I haven't been on the last couple of weeks. So we actually, with our tackle season being canceled, there's a bunch of us that got together and we're going to form. So flag football is an approved activity up here in Oregon.
Games
so we're
too?
Gonna so we're going to do 7-on-7, but we're going to add flags. So this be 7-on-7 with flag football. We have one team's going to be just our linemen.
Love it. Love that. They give them some balls to go play.
Love.
So we got big family. So we'll have one guy who's going to play quarterback. He's just huge, but he's got an arm on him, so it'll be fun. He can throw the ball further than those dudes can run for sure. So,
Jared Lorenzen was legit in college, right?
So we do Monday, Wednesdays, and we're adding Fridays now for practices for that. We're going to go September 27th through November 8th, and we'll do it tournament style. And then at the end, so we have teams from all over Oregon. So at the end, we'll do a state championship, and we're going. So there'll be a 5th, 6th grade division, 7th, 8th division, and then a high school division where it's, freshmen through seniors.
Love it. See, and I love it. We have to do more here because it's not established. Those grades are not established. And I'm going to use this off season as a way to establish 7-on-7 up here because it's too good of a way to at least learn in the meantime. And hopefully we'll be able to play games like you guys, but if not, we'll at least be doing it internally and they will be working on their passing game and we'll line up a defense and they'll learn how to, pass a receiver.
Well, the 7-on-7 is so huge for what Jolly was talking about earlier with the routes. The way I treat 7-on-7 is basically like our install stuff, but you get 7 to 8 weeks to do it, and you don't have to. As long as you treat it right and do what you're going to run during your tackle season, there's a lot of benefits to 7s.
100%. And what you just said is 100%, man. If you're not doing it to improve tackle season, you're not doing anything.
No, you get some of these guys, they're running, routes that break 3, 4, 5 times. When you ever, Coach was talking about watching a game where the quarterback's trying to hold it for 4 seconds, but he's just looking up at the sky.
Yeah. Well said. Yeah.
It's pointless. And that's what's running rampant right now, 7-on-7. Unfortunately, it's more of an AAU game than an actual football where I've literally had one of my quarterbacks that was supposed to be one of my quarterbacks this year, his dad literally said to me as we were doing preseason teaching air raid, teaching quarterbacks how the air raid works, he literally said to me, I guess this will not hinder his development as a football with 7-on-7. there's people that literally value 7-on-7 over a tackle season, and it's like so backwards. And I like took everything within me not to just light this dad up, and I didn't. I just left it alone. Like, okay, like that, all that's great, but like he's gonna have to do certain things with an air raid. And if his quarterback coach doesn't like it, maybe this isn't the best team for his fit. Like I don't know what to tell you at that point, right? Like, give me a break.
And I'm trying to explain to
So can I
parents.
ask a quick question?
They're like, oh well, we don't want. They don't want to go out and play two-hand touch. We're just here for regular football, tackle football. And it's like, oh, but it just helps you so much. Like
The reads, just get used to the read. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
Get used to reading that linebacker, the overhang defender. If that's all you get out of this, read an overhang defender and read a safety. That's all I want. But they don't get it. They don't get it. Someone was chiming in. I'm sorry. I cut somebody up.
Yeah, real quick, I wanted to ask a question. You mentioned it, and I've ran into the first time ever this year. Do you guys get a lot of problem of quarterback coaches and your parents showing up and saying, well, that's not how he's taught, and having to, I mean, basically, I just say that's wrong. Does he want to play or does he want to go
That's
work with
literally-
his quarterback coach?
I had a
100%.
dad.
I didn't know if
come
y'all
on the
run into that a
field,
lot.
I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago. We had a younger guy come up. One of our. So I guess he coached 6th grade last year, but our quarterback has been working with us all summer. And then this dad showed up and walked out there while we were practicing. He's like, that's not how I teach them. I'm like, yeah, well, I didn't even know the dad's name. I didn't know who he is. I
The
knew,
ball's on these people, man. I'm telling you.
and I'm like, yeah, well, that's not what he was trying to tell me. Something about dropping back, and he needs to drop back more. And I'm like, yeah, but we're throwing slants. We're just trying to get him to open up, catch the ball, open up, and
Get it
throw.
out.
We're not 5-step dropping and throwing a slant.
You know what routes are 4
But
3-step and 5-step drops?
Right.
Come on, bro. Like,
I swear that if a QB coach actually tried to teach quick game, which was what 6th and 7th and 8th graders need to learn before you get into the passing game, the drop back game, they wouldn't get paid because it's not sexy. You don't see that on YouTube. You don't see it on Instagram. So these guys got to convince these parents to pay money because a lot of these aren't the like real quarterback gurus. It's some dude who played at an NAIA school getting a coaching job, so he's just doing it at the local park. Which that sounds disrespectful to say. I'm sorry.
it's real, though. It's real. It's real.
He is smart, but he's trying to prepare the kid for the high school system, and the kid's not ready. But, and so I just didn't know. That's the first time I've ever ran into it. Usually I have a ton of great athletes who don't know how to play quarterback. So when I explain, hey, like this past week, I got a quarterback, and finally he realized that 6 is not a Hail Mary. 6 is a 12-yard throw in rhythm, and all of a sudden he started dropping dimes instead of trying to throw a 30-yard ball. And once he started throwing that 15-yard ball, well, then the 20-yard pass came a little bit easier if he had to move because he relaxed and he wasn't chucking it. And these kids don't realize when you chuck it, you can't throw.
It's just it's not high percentage. We're high percentage, baby. Let's just get
it's
the
so
ball
fun.
completed.
It's
But no,
crazy.
you guys are going to run in that more and more. Dude, I literally have every 5th grade quarterback all the way up to 8th grade has a quarterback coach out here and where I live. It's a very affluent area.
Yeah, but you got that Bay Area money. Y'all live in the high life.
I guess the tech money is big out here, but I'm telling you, like, they all got a quarterback coach that's like, and the first thing I say to them is, I'm not here to teach you technique. Do what you want to do technique wise, but you're going to learn a 0-step drop. You're going to learn a 1-step rockers drop, and you're going to learn a 3-step drop, and whatever your coach tells you how to do that, however you feel comfortable, do it. But if you're not executing, then you're not going to play quarterback for me. So
the only thing I'm a pet
out
peeve
of
on.
curiosity, out of curiosity, y'all mentioned these quarterback coaches. How much are they charging a session?
$100 an hour out here.
I have no idea, but whatever it is, highway robbery.
$60
$100 an hour. Yeah.
I need to become a quarterback's coach.
Well,
and I played running back, but I can do better than what these guys are doing.
Yeah. Well, just take Dular's quarterback. If you guys have watched it on YouTube or CoachTube, I've put it out there a few times. I'll put the link again down in the middle after this is over. If you go take Dular's advanced quarterbacks CoachTube channel, I've literally taken that slide for slide. I'm doing that in my current camp when I do my quarterback session. And it's not about technique, but it's the core fundamental drills, about 9 of them. And you can roll those out and teach them. I'm with every group once a week for 4 weeks in this session. And those kids, and I'm doing it with linemen, I'm doing it with quarterbacks, I'm doing it with receivers. Those kids from week 1 to week 4 will get the same instruction, and they will know how to at least operate air raid football. And that's all you need. You don't need these guys that are charging $100 an hour. It's insane.
If you live anywhere in upper elementary, middle school world, you start talking about quarterbacks, you start talking about fathers, baseball pitchers, kids that have been told, hey, you can throw it a long way, or man, you throw a pretty ball, right? I mean, we've all had that. That's the world you're living in, and those are the guys that show up that want to play quarterback, right? Or they're pushed to play quarterback, or like you say, fathers walk on the field and say, oh, my son can throw it 50 yards in a beautiful spiral, which is all true. But, sometimes just as easy as the noose and loose drill, where that's a 5-yard throw. We're from day one, we just talk about if you're not accurate, then you just can't play quarterback for us.
Yeah.
We're going to teach you all the other stuff. We've got some specific drills. We got some things that we think we do good. But if you're not accurate, it doesn't matter how great you throw, because every 4th throw it'll be 5 yards high or in the ground.
Consistency.
I mean, you line a kid up for a noose and loose drill, and that's a 5-yard, 6-yard, 7-yard throw, and you can immediately I can tell if he can play quarterback or not, because if he can't 5 yards, if I can't throw it right straight in, it's pretty easy. But yes, if you live in this world, you always have that, with other coaches calling you, the baseball coach saying, hey, this kid can throw it 60 miles an hour. And like I say, the fathers, if you live in that world, it's always going to be there. Again, a lot like Matt was saying, get you some specific drills and line them up, and it won't take you. And also the parents, once you start talking about the things that you value, and accuracy, I think in the L rate at a young age has to be there. We all have stuff that we will develop, the arm strength and the routes and the sixes and what it is. But if you can't be accurate, then you just can't play quarterback in this system.
Yeah, and Mike, by the way, Dular's drills are pretty much exactly drill for drill what you sent out last week on the Facebook page. So Mike Hardwick, same exact thing. Just find those core quarterback plays, quarterback drills. We don't need to harp on is their arm at a perfect L, or is it like don't worry about that. These kids will find their natural slot. It is more about just doing these drills every week, and you'll find your right quarterback. It's more about accuracy and IQ than can the kid throw 95-mile-per-hour fastball. 100%.
Isn't number 15 for Kansas City air raid quarterback?
Oh yeah,
half a $1 billion.
Dude, go watch his Texas Tech highlights. It's incredible, and I'm a Niner fan, so every cell.
I'd show that parent who does not paid quarterback right now and go air raid.
Yeah, no, go through the last 3 Heismans. Go through them. Yeah. Air raid.
Oh, sorry to jump in real fast. Has anybody seen that on Twitter today? It was I think it was like Spread Football or somebody, and they're like, the quarterback that was at Arizona from Oklahoma, I just forgot his name. But anyways, he was like, working on the spread era long handoff, and he's just throwing quick screens. And they're like, the spread era handoff, and I'm like, yes, that is the handoff. The F flare.
Woo! Woo! I'm still mad. I didn't think of that. Guys, how did I not think of that?
Of all people, not to get the Ric Flair, and you've been calling it R Flair, L Flair. Just call it R Flair, Ric Flair, baby.
Yeah, man.
It worked out. It's funny.
Hey, we got about 6 more minutes before we got to roll. So Marcus Thompson, appreciate the question. I think it's a great question to end this on. Let's go around the horn, because this is different for everybody. And I know for a fact all 12 people on this panel do this differently. Let's go around. How do you do pregame? Is it a mirror of your warm-ups for practice, or were you doing something specifically different for the games? Coach Eddie Young, why don't you kick us off? You guys do anything special for pregame warm-ups, or is it just like a mirror of practice?
Mostly a mirror of practice, and then we'll take the linemen off a little bit, let the big boys bump a little bit, get loosened up, and then it's the exact same thing.
Here, Philly. Great. Coach Johns, what about you? You high school level, what do you guys do for pregame? You guys do anything different than a regular practice warm-up?
I mean, slightly in high school, you do. We have basically we go out and we do easy ups. Then essentially we do stretching. Then we do individual D, individual O, team, special teams. As far as individually, though, no, we're using individual drills that we work on during practice.
Gotcha. Lucci, what do you guys do out there? You're in middle school.
So as far as warm-ups and stretches, I have one of our coaches. I don't really mess with him, so he does different stretches every day, and then he has different stretches for game day. So that's his area of expertise, so I don't really mess with him. And then we break into indies, like you said. We'll do some light thud, not even like 50%, just kind of, some light bumping. And then route running, just whatever drills we think they need to go over for the day, just little quick refreshers.
Love it. Hardwick?
Middle school, we usually don't have a lot of time, but you're going to laugh. We'll do routes on air, and I'll have both quarterbacks throwing, and we'll just do routes on air. One quarterback throwing to the right and one quarterback throwing to the left. So we're just, like always, like our regular practice, getting a bunch of reps, and we'll do that. 3-4 minutes, we can get about 20 throws in.
You're playing to the audience, man. You love grandstanding, don't you, Hardwick?
We are who we are, I guess,
Yeah, I love. But I'm saying, like a decade into the air raid, that's all you guys listening, and myself included. A decade into the air raid, he's running routes on air before a game, and it warms up everybody. It's fast reps. It's repping the plays. I mean, it's everything that you need. Think about it, guys. What more do you need than going? Of course, it's just skill positions, right? O-line should be down there banging, getting their shoulders warm. But what more do you need from like one drill that warms up every position? Honestly, what do you need? Hunter, what do you guys do down there at 5th and 6th grade?
So we do settle a noose. We do about 3 minutes of that, and then we'll do pat and go. But usually I have a coach just throwing pat and go to the receiver while the quarterback's just doing some loosening up stuff, and then we do routes on air. And then my defensive coach usually begs me for a few minutes, and sometimes if he's lucky, I'll let him line up his players and look at them.
Love it. Jason Ross, middle school.
Brothers.
The only thing really different we do, everything is the same as practicing the game day outside of about 10 minutes ago before game time. We're lining shoulder to shoulder at 30, kind of just walking through offense, walking through defense, special teams, just making sure they all know where they're supposed to be lined up and their jobs. And we also go over who if this guy gets hurt, who's next guy behind, and we just make sure we know that so we're not searching for the sideline. That's about it.
Love it. Manny, what are you guys doing down there in SoCal pre-game?
It's panic mode before the game because you're trying to just give a refresher on all of those plays. We just involve our coaches more in throwing, so we just don't leave it to the couple of quarterbacks we have.
Right, you got to get those reps.
But we even add our ADs and stuff like that, so that all they're just doing is those kids are touching the ball every 2 or 3 seconds. As many as we can get them through to get them comfortable. That's
a good point, man. We've been doing these camps, and the blessing of these camps is like I can slow down and teach these kids that are linemen that never, when we get into a real tackle training camp, kids get a try out for, 3 days, maybe 5 days if they're decent enough. But we put them in your O-line pretty quick, right? If you're O-line. The blessing of these camps that I'm doing right now is that we can teach everybody, we can slow down, teach everybody the exact same drills we teach the quarterbacks. We teach the running backs the exact same drills we teach the O-linemen. And so what you're talking about is actually pretty cool because, you get a chance to really work with these kids and specialize. So I love that you get a chance to do that. So great. I appreciate you chiming in, Manny. Coach Jolly, what are you guys doing out there pregame?
We used to do almost what Coach Johns was saying, almost like a high school thing. And when I took over this year, I had posted it in the Facebook. We dropped all that stuff, and my plan is to do like Coach Eddie was saying, is just exactly as we do in practice. Do a light warm up, and then just go into I was planning on doing settle and noose, but I like what Hardwick was saying about is just going into routes on air. That way, you get more of a real game time feel to it. Settle and noose is really like it is a warm up drill, but I think when you're going pregame, we might start. I might look at routes on air, but that's my plan is to either go routes on air or settle and loose.
Love it.
Or no. Perfect. What is it?
Perfect place.
Drill. Perfect drill.
Yeah. Perfect drill. Yeah. Settle and noose. Some parts of the country might be taken the wrong way, and we do not want that associated. Cool. Hey, so we're 2 hours in. I'm going to give our panel one last chance to go around the horn, say whatever you want to say in passing. I appreciate everybody being on tonight. This is a great way to kind of rehash. I know we've been gone for 2 hours or 2 weeks. I apologize for the absence, but we're going to get going every Sunday again. So continue to chime in. Coach Eddie Young, last chance. Anything you want to get out there before we call it a weekend?
Hey, man, just really appreciate being on tonight. Check us out at Middle School Football Academy, covering all things middle school football related. Shouts out to Matt Lasker, though, just for, letting the young kid jump on here, man. So appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, like I said before, I appreciate everything you're doing. I love the angle you're coming from because it's something that I love to talk about, but just haven't had time to get to. So I want to have you on as a regular basis to be that voice of that side of the house. And I appreciate everything you're doing, Coach. So let's continue to spread the love, get these middle school and youth coaches, throwing the ball around, spreading the ball around, and hopefully we get these numbers headed back in the right direction. So thank you, Coach Eddie Young, Middle School Football Academy. Go check them out. Coach Anthony Johns, thanks for joining us today. Anything you got? Anything you want to promote beyond that? You're just an awesome high school coach.
No, I mean, if you guys ever need anything or want to talk football, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. If you're in the group, I'll post my email address, my phone number. I'll give to you if you message me directly. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad to help, glad to talk football anytime. My Sundays are usually free, so anytime you guys are more than welcome to reach out to me.
You're the man, and I'll second that, Coach Anthony. We've been talking a little bit on the side, and he's been super responsive. So, guys, I can't tell you how much it might feel awkward to some of you guys to reach out to people you don't know, but this football community is tight. Our little community is even tighter, and the air raid community on top of that is very much an open book. And even if you're someone that we're going to play next week, I'd say I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and you still got to stop me. So I appreciate you, Coach Anthony Johns, coming on and dropping some knowledge for us. And we hope you stay a part of our community because it's definitely a value add for us.
Absolutely, Coach. Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Right on. Coach Lucci out in Oregon. I love it. A little bit of West Coast representation. Me and Manny are kind of the only West Coasters out here. Got anything to add? You have a channel or anything? I know you're pretty active on social.
Yeah, so we don't have a Facebook or a YouTube channel or anything, but we got a Facebook page, Premier Athletic Club. You can look up Premier Athletic Club 2020.
Yep.
We're on Twitter. We're on Twitter at PAC_Oregon. So any of you guys that want to go out there and follow, we're focusing on. So we don't focus just on football. We're going to cover everything. We do volleyball, softball, and try to find the best coaches in those sports for the kids. So it's a fairly new deal, but if any of you guys want to go out there and check it out, man, we appreciate the support.
Heck yeah, man. And, I think a lot of you guys will get in the same boat. And when I started my little football academy out here, we actually did business as Diablo Sports Academy because big picture vision, like Coach Lucci's talking about, when people ask and people are interviewing and they're saying, can you be a good football coach? They're actually asking you if you can be a good coach of young people, right? Young men and women. Can you relate? Can you get on their level? Can you speak to them? And big picture wise, I think a lot of us can. We wouldn't be in this position if we weren't. So introducing core values with the background of working hard that translates to men, women, young boys, young girls. So Coach Lucci is a great example of that. So thanks for joining us, Coach. Again, you are a great example of a middle school coach that is evolving just like the rest of us. We've ran what we know in the past, and maybe we're evolving to air raid now, or some type of spread. You can kind of pass the ball around. So we love the fact that you came on. I cannot tell you how impressed I am with the program that you're a part of, and I hope we can somehow work together in the future, kind of moving toward that as a goal. So, man, thanks for coming on, and hopefully you'll stay around so we can kind of pick your brain moving forward.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, these Sundays work better for me anyway, so I'll definitely be on every Sunday.
Right on, man. Well, we'll be seeing you then.
Yes, sir.
Coach
Have a good
David.
night.
Yes, sir. Coach David Hunter, great to see you back after about 3-4 weeks away, man. Anything to add on your way out the door?
It's been a minute. Nah, just guys, keep putting out great content. I'll keep coming up with better names.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
But no, I really honestly think the more content we put out, and I know I've been slacking on this because I need to get back to filming more practice and stuff. But
it's hard, man. It's hard.
I finally have 30 kids on my team instead of like 17 or 12, and so nice. I'm realizing the handling and juggling of all these people, and it's becoming harder and harder and harder. Some of these coaches where they're like, we got 2 coaches and 50 kids. I'm like, how do you sleep? But keeping out content, it's going to help more people come to the game of the air raid. And like my biggest goal, and I say this every time I'm on here, is I want younger kids and coaches to realize these 7-year-olds know how to throw the football. The 8-year-olds know how to throw a football. We've got to teach the air raid. It's 3 pass plays, 3 run plays, and a couple formations. And so if you're watching this, somehow stumbled upon it, jump in, dive in feet first. Simplify the game, play fast, and have fun, and you're going to get more kids coming out of the game. At the end of the day, I think all of us want to save football and grow the numbers. And although 3 yards in a cloud of dust is fun, sometimes if you're the running back, the other 10 kids, can't break 11 hearts to save 1. So, air raid, baby, let's go.
100%, Coach. All right, good. Well, it's good to hear your voice again, buddy. Good to see you again. And, Sunday nights I think will be fun for all of us. So, a little Sunday night football. Maybe at some point we could watch a Sunday night football game while we talk a little football. Who knows, man?
Ooh.
Next level. Coach Ross, parting words of wisdom, bud.
Yeah, I'm going to second what Coach Young said, and thank you, Matt, for being a pioneer of this thing, because it's great to see this community growing like it is. It's really grown, faster than we all expected, and it's great to see. So appreciate that. So, and lastly, just, check me out at Coach Ross Football on YouTube too, as well. So we can share ideas and, like Coach Hunter said, simplify the game, have fun.
Go follow Coach Ross. We need all these middle school perspectives. Football is different in Cali than it is in North Carolina and South Carolina and throughout the middle earth and East Coast. So, gosh, it's all different experiences, same level, but Coach Ross, I know you guys all know him by now. He's a stand-up guy, and if he can survive the hurricane season, he'll be around to teach us a little bit more. Hardwick, Biloxi, Mississippi. Everyone's favorite ex-principal.
Oxford.
Jeez, not Biloxi. That's the guy that reached out to you this week was from Biloxi.
That's right.
Did you connect with him, or are you big time in him?
Yes, we've emailed a couple of times.
Okay, good.
I cannot believe I've been on here 2 hours and nobody has asked anybody how to run the stick. I cannot believe that. Nobody has asked, please draw the stick, no questions. It's the first time ever. I can't believe it.
Well, they don't want you to go into your semi-stick because it's confusing to people that you do that.
Particularly when I can't access technology. Yeah.
There he goes. Coach Lucci wants to know because they run it. This Oregon stick is different than Mississippi stick.
That's right. Yeah, that's so funny. But tackling, let's do the tackling. I do think that's an important thing, particularly for youth, and that's one of my and that's not even anything to do with offense. Next time, let's do a little tackling. I think that's really, really important to do that right, particularly in this age with the COVID. parents want an excuse to not play. They really do, because they're already nervous about everything, with the situations. There's a few things I think we all need to do right, and that's one of the things. So that's one of my new passions for this fall is tackling.
100%. And so next Sunday, we were going to do it today if we stayed on task, and I had Lucci on to talk at 6:30. We were going to go, or 5:30. We're going to go to Hardwick next at 7, or an hour in to do defense. But hey, guys, I do want to get it out there. This is not going to just be air raid anymore. We do want to talk defense. I'm a little offended by some of the people on my Facebook group going, I know this isn't defensive football conversations, but let me ask a question about defense, because, hey,
but y'all coach defense?
Yeah,
I thought we just scored an onside kick.
Listen, the fact that we love offense so much doesn't discount the fact that if you're a head coach, and most of us are here, you got to know both, right? And you got to be able to be autonomous. So, listen, we're going to go deep on defense next Sunday. Mike has a bunch of great drills. I've been teaching defense in my little camps as well, and I think we all know it. The fact that maybe it doesn't take as many hours to coach up defense versus offense. Offense is execution, which means repetition. That doesn't discount the fact that we are defensive coaches as well. So, Mike, we are going to do that. Let's do it next Saturday or next Sunday. I got all your clips downloaded, so don't worry. Mike doesn't have the control of the videos anymore, guys. We'll be able to get through a whole session without him breaking something.
Touche.
Right?
Touche.
I got it all locked and loaded. So we're going to do that next week, Mike. So just make sure you're available, pal.
Gotcha, man.
All right, cool. Manny, any parting words of wisdom from the valley down there in Southern California?
I've coached for a while, but I am very much a newbie to the air raid. So
yes, sir.
The one thing I can say is I see 7 people on the screen besides myself. I had more than 7 things that I took away just from today, things I didn't know. So thank all of you, because each one of you gave me multiple things that I did not know until today to add to what I'm doing. So thank you.
Love it. Yes, sir. And thank you for being such a big part of our community, buddy. We love it. And, go Giants, F the Dodgers. But, in all fairness,
I'm a Yankees man.
Oh, good. So I do. I can like you after all. Good. I appreciate that. Thanks for telling me that. I was kind of judging you until you told me that.
Nope.
So that's perfect. There's not enough baseball fans in this group. I don't know. We got to talk basketball or something in this group. There's more basketball.
We got the Red Sox over here. Red Sox fans. So.
Boy. Good. We can talk about that. How did Pablo Sandoval end up for you guys a couple years ago? Is that all right?
I've been burned by so many baseball pitchers trying to play quarterback that I almost have just baseball's been ruined for me. I'm like, I want the shortstop. I'm like, shortstop. Yeah, exactly. You pitch. No, you go be a wide receiver. You played shortstop second. All right, you can come around and throw a football.
Yeah, pitchers aren't athletes, bro. They got heavy feet. You need the athlete for sure.
And they're cozy. If you ever watch a pitcher throw a football, they don't keep their back foot planted ever. It drives me insane because they have no accuracy. They try to throw hard. And so I'll shut up. That's one of my soapboxes.
All right,
you're exactly right. Exactly right.
You're still in Coach Jolly's thunder again, bro. You always do that, David. All right, Jolly. Last word from my folks out there in Miami. What's going on out there?
I just wanted to talk up Coach Lucci real quick, man. The name sounded familiar, and then as soon as you started talking about that game, that Oregon game, it clicked. He reached out to me last year. I think it was on Mackey's Facebook channel when I was like, shooting in the dark, trying to find someone to help out with middle school stuff. And, he reached out to me, and he was the first person that I actually got to see middle schoolers running air raid. And he sent me clips, and he sent me where to watch that game that he's talking about. And he just spent a lot of time with me explaining like six and things like that. And it's like, he's a true gentleman. He's a true G. He's a true bro, whatever term it is, man. Man, I can't thank you, Lucci, enough, man. You really helped me out back then when there was no one to help a middle schooler out. So, and then now this group is blown up. I can't thank you guys enough. And then Lucci, I just wanted to shout you out, man. I appreciated it.
Hey, I appreciate that. As soon as I saw you pop in here, I was like, oh, man. Hey, and Coach Johns, too. I think we've done a couple of these together for the Let's Talk Offense group. So it's kind of cool to see these guys come together in a couple different areas, man. Thank you, Coach, for putting it all together.
Yeah. Cool, man. Thanks, Jolly. And, obviously we love you out here, man. You've been such a big piece of our community. And, you guys I see you guys all on social media kind of spread the love and putting my name out there, and I appreciate it. And hopefully we can all do the same for Coach Ross and Coach Eddie Young and any of you guys that start channels. I've told Mike Hardwick a million times, if he started a channel, he'd blow up like nobody's business, because everyone loves listening to that Southern draw.
I just stalk you guys. I just stalk all of you.
I mean, the Louisiana thing, there's like this just like aura about Louisiana. Is everyone haunted there? Is everyone like, I don't know. There's something crazy about Louisiana that I just love. So, and Mississippi, the same type of vibe there. So cool, man. So I appreciate everyone coming on. I know we're 2 hours and 15 minutes. This is one of the best conversations, and we did 0 X's and O's. So we'll get back to that next week, I promise. But it was great catching up with everyone. Thanks for chiming in from around the country. We went coast to coast today, from Oregon to Cali to Florida to Mississippi and Tennessee and everywhere in between, the Carolinas. So thank you guys so much for being a part of this. I know we kind of sprung up on this Sunday night edition, but I think this might work better for everybody, and we'll get Facile back in the house. So until next week, guys, continue to spread the love. Continue to spread the air raid love, and make sure that we are getting participation numbers back up by, essentially spreading the ball around and giving more kids more touches. I think that'll bring the game back. So thanks again, everyone. Signing off for tonight, and we'll talk to you guys all soon.
All right,
Here.
coaches.
Bye.
Bye.
You guys take it easy.